What's going on, my tactical people? Welcome back to Desert Tactical and Firearms. I wanted to get to the third and final question you should ask yourself initially before buying a firearm for either home or personal protection or EDC, and that's cost. Cost and your preference on either home or EDC kind of go together. Um, Basically, it depends on what you plan on doing as to how much you should look at spending. There's, like I said in the last video, a wide variety of all kinds of firearms that you can purchase for either home or EDC. EDC, I mean, you can start out as low as $300 and, get a pretty decent firearm nowadays. They have the CZ P10 for about 350, depending on where you look at. I know I have a Smith and Wesson SDV9 or SD9VE. My wife got this for me for a Christmas present. It was about $350. It's a 9mm striker fire, 16 round, one in the chamber, so 17 rounds. You can get you something like this, or you can even go as low as, I want to say this was like 250 plus tax. I think it came out to like 300 and something. Little Taurus 357, 2.5-inch snub nose. Got you holding 5 rounds of either 38 special or 357. A little pocket carry, a little pocket holster from We the People holsters that I got. And then again, for about 500, you can go with the Glock 43X. These are all everyday EDC carry, personal protection that I carry. And then you can go up to say $600-700 with the SIG P365 X Macro. And then you can even go further and go with something like a 1911 double stack with the Prodigy, or say a Staccato 2011, and they're looking at $2,000 to start out at. So yeah, I mean, price is a big deal when it comes to choosing your firearm. Also choosing if you're going to do home defense or everyday carry. They kind of go hand in hand, like I said. It all depends on what you want to do. So with that, I mean, there's a wide variety. And like I said, do your research. I suggest going to an indoor gun range that rents out firearms so you can test it for yourself and see if you like it. See if it fits you. That's a big deal, is whether the firearm fits you. I've gotten firearms thinking I like them and I haven't, and so I've moved on and gotten other firearms. So if you can get away from having to spend the money and just rent a firearm to see if you like it, that's the best route. So yeah, for the third question of self-defense with a firearm, I would say is cost, your budget, what you plan on spending, what you're willing to spend. Yeah, and do your research, watch multiple YouTube channels. Everybody's got their own opinions, their own reviews, different locations, from East Coast to West Coast, from dry heat to wet humidity to rainy cold to freezing. I mean, all those you got to take into consideration as well. There's a lot of things that go into owning a firearm, with cleaning to different types of oils, lubricants, cleaners. Ammunition is another big thing. You know, you got your target rounds, your ball ammo, and then you got your personal defense rounds, which are usually your hollow points. Um, you know, so there's a lot of things that go into owning a self-defense, personal protection firearm. And I really want to stress the fact of you should do your research on what is making you feel more comfortable, as far as you want to protect your home only, or only when you're at home, or you want to EDC. You know, doing your research really defeats a lot of wasted time and wasted money. So, yeah, I mean, a lot of people ask me, you know, what I think their first firearm should be. And lately I tell people, you know, I would just go rent one, and whichever one you think you might like, see if they have it for rent, go rent it, you know, shoot it. You know, you may be looking at $75 to go rent a firearm. Got to buy the ammo, pay for the hour to shoot. So yeah, you're probably looking at about 50, $75 depending on where you're going. But that 50, $75 is going to save you $300, $400 from buying a firearm and owning it, and then realizing that you don't like it, and doing your research on finding out, you know, little ticks that firearms have will save you a lot of time on whether you want to deal with that, you know, in the long run. And I mean, a lot of people talk shit about Glock because they haven't changed their style in decades. I mean, since the 80s, the first gen looks just like the Gen 5. You know, I think the newest thing they've come out with was this Glock and CAD or COD, you know, red dot that only fits a certain slide. And it's like $900 just because it's got an enclosed red dot from Aimpoint, I think it is. It's a little ridiculous if you ask me. Um, these enclosed emitters, I think, should be a little bit cheaper than what they are. I'm trying to figure something out for that on my own, make it a little cheaper to own an enclosed red dot. So, but yeah, do your research, take the time. I mean, you've gotten by this far. I mean, I wouldn't take too much time if you're feeling the need for personal defense. But yeah, definitely do your research. Go out, rent a firearm, test shoot it, see if you got a friend that has one. Like I was getting to, a lot of people talk crap on Glock because, you know, they haven't changed since the 80s and they pretty much look the same. So, but they're dependable. I mean, people joke around, no Glock perfection, but they're tested and proven. They're carried by, I want to say, 80% of law enforcement, if not higher, around this country. So you got that. They used to be contracted with the military. A lot of, you know, people that can choose their own sidearms in the forces, they used to choose Glock, or they still do choose Glock. I know SIG's come a long way, and SIG is picking up in the military game and contracting with them. So there's all different types of things, but I stress doing your research. And yeah, I mean, I would have saved a lot of time and a lot of money had I known all this before, instead of just going out and buying all these firearms. You know, a lot of people will say, "Damn, you got a lot of pistols," and I only do because I've bought things that I thought I liked and then realized they weren't that great. But now I got them. I'm not trying to get rid of them. So, but on that note, I want to end with do your research. You know, take the time that you think you need. You know, to look into training as well. Getting some firearm training is definitely something that I stress to my friends and family. Don't just go out and buy a pistol and think, oh, now you're good. You know, you can protect yourself. You want to get some training from professionals who have been in situations, who know how to handle themselves. And yes, training classes are pretty steep too, you know, especially for us, you know, middle class people, and spending $300-400 on an 8-hour class, you know, that's a lot of money. But if you got the time and you got the budget, I suggest taking it. So yeah, that's pretty much for all I got for today. I know I've taken a long time getting these initial 3 questions you should ask yourself for self-defense out there, but I've been running around doing life, trying to figure things out on, you know, my own side too. So all right, you guys have a good day. Remember, money talks, bullshit walks. Peace.